Hi flower friends, it's Nicole from Flower Hill Farm, and today I'm sitting in my garage and I'm checking out my Lisianthus. My Lisianthus seedlings are about 6 weeks old now. They are one of the slowest growing flowers from seed, so you have to be dedicated in order to start Lisianthus from seed. You should start them 12 to 14 weeks before you're putting them in the ground. So it's been 6 weeks so far, so we're about halfway there. I am noticing, however, a lot of algae growth on my Lisianthus trays, and I believe that's because my grow room in the basement is, well, it's doing its job. It's keeping the humidity and the temperature levels up in the basement in order for my seedlings to grow. Because of all that humidity down there, I'm seeing a more than normal algae growth on my seedling trays. I didn't see them at this point last year because I think the way that I did them last year was I sowed them all together in small trays and then I potted them up when they were about 6-7 weeks old. So I didn't see the algae growth on the trays until much later because I potted them up into fresh soil. So that's, I think, why I'm seeing them earlier this year, because I direct seeded right into these plug trays. So what I'm doing, well, first of all, the algae itself isn't really gonna harm my plants. Don't worry if you see algae. It's not going to kill your seedlings, but what it could do is it could compete with your seedlings for nutrients, for water, because algae is a living thing. Algae needs food, algae needs water. So it can maybe force your plant to have a weaker root system or not get as much nutrients as it could just by simply competing with it. So what I'm doing right now is rather tedious and unnecessary. It makes me feel better as a Lisianthus mom. So what I do is basically I take a Q-tip, and I have a little bowl of water over here in one of my kids' cereal dishes with the straw. You know those, everyone's got those. So I've got the Q-tip and I'm basically just running the Q-tip around each seedling, and every 5 or 6 cells I'm just giving it a dip in the water. And basically I'm not removing all the algae, but I'm just getting, you know, a lot, like the bulk of the algae I'm getting, and then I dip it in. And then I do it again. It takes me probably less than 5 minutes to do a tray, and I only have 3 trays. So this whole process is only gonna take me about 15 minutes in order to clear a lot of the algae off of my seedlings. And I have a tray right here that's finished, and I can show you that. So this is the tray with the algae that I'm starting to take off. And this is the tray that I've completely cleaned up. I'll get a close-up shot so you guys can check it out. What I did after I removed as much of the algae as possible with a quick go off the top with the Q-tip is I sprinkled the top with cinnamon, which cinnamon acts as a prevention tool for algae. And then I added a thin layer of vermiculite on top of each cell, and that also helps to prohibit algae growth. So both of those things I hope are going to, well, you know, not necessarily stop the algae growth altogether, but perhaps slow it down. It's really an aesthetic thing for me. I do not like to go downstairs and look at my seedlings and see that they're covered in green. I like them to look healthy. I could leave these and they could be perfectly fine, but I'm just taking the time that I have and babying my seedlings. I'm babying them, that's what I'm doing, they're my babies. So I'm gonna take just a couple more minutes and remove the algae with my Q-tip, and then I'm gonna sprinkle the cinnamon, and then I'm gonna sprinkle the vermiculite to this tray, and then I'm gonna add it, bring them both back downstairs where I can show you my ranunculus. So let me get this done. So what I've actually done as a little bit of an experiment is I did not use cinnamon on this tray. So I want to see if there is an actual difference between the tray that I sprinkled cinnamon on. I want to see if there is a difference in the algae growth. So little experiment that I'm playing here. Okay, I'm gonna clean up my mess here and then go downstairs and bring these back down. But I did want to mention, a lot of people ask me if I pot my Lisianthus up. No, they're going to stay in these trays until I put them into the ground. So no, they're not gonna be potted up. They are absolutely fine here. In fact, when you order plugs in from the professional growers, this is what they come in. This is actually the exact same thing they came in last year. I just saved the trays. Hi, what's up? Here is the third tray that I must clean up. Here is the tray of Ranunculus. These are the trays of Ranunculus that I started about 2.5 weeks ago. We have another tray down here. And then these are the ones that I started, about a week ago. They're starting to get some growth. Same thing over here. Same thing over here. Lots and lots and lots of trays. Here are the rest of the Ranunculus corms that I started actually on Sunday. I soaked them and my mother-in-law came over and potted them all up for me. Yes, I do cover my corms. They're not covered very much, and you can see that there's no action there yet. It's only been a few days. And when I find them to be getting dry, I just kind of spritz the top. I don't pour water in. I just kind of sprinkle water over the top so that they don't dry out too much. I'm really hoping to get these into the hoop house by the first week in March. I planted them outside on April 1st last year, so I think inside the hoop house, I can actually get it done about a month earlier. So cross your fingers for that. So my Lisianthus looks happy. I'm gonna take this tray right here. This is the third and final tray that I've got to clean up, and I'm gonna take that upstairs and get it done. Anyway, thanks guys for sticking around, and we'll see you soon. I'm editing right now, and I realized that you guys are probably wondering some questions, and I probably will do a Q&A on Lisianthus. So if you guys have any questions about Lisianthus, go ahead and drop them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer your questions in an upcoming video. Okay, back to work. Secret plant stalker.
Algae flavored birdie bots flavored beans.
I think they'd be a hit. Smells really good right here. Makes me want some cinnamon toast. This is how the Ranunculus look, the Ranunculus look, the Ranunculus look. This is how the Ranunculus look early in the morning. I'm cleaning my ear. I just don't.
No wonder I couldn't hear anything.
They just smell like wet cotton. Just wet cotton. Oh God. What's wrong with me?